Hey everybody, Austin back again with another Let's Play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Twin Cobra, this time for the Sega Genesis. Now I say this time because I've actually previously done a Let's Play on this game, albeit the Nintendo Entertainment System version. And actually, I think that was a long play, where I just played through the whole game, then slapped a commentary track on top of it. Unfortunately, this Let's Play is not going to be as cool, in a way, as my Nintendo Entertainment System one, because I'm probably not going to be able to beat this game live. Twin Cobra for the Sega Genesis is a really tough game, mostly thanks to the fact that it has a start back mode, where basically what that means is if you die, you get pushed back to a checkpoint pretty much with no power-ups. You're pretty much scaled right back down to your beginning firepower level, which can make a lot of parts of this game extremely difficult, and if you die at a bad spot, it can be extremely difficult to recover, especially if you die at a boss and you've got to fight the boss over with pretty much one power-up or two at most, because that's about all you'll get by the time you get back to the boss. It can be a really challenging game. Despite that, though, I really love this game. This is one of my favorite shoot-'em-ups for the Sega Genesis, and from that time period of shmups. Part of that is that, and I explained this in my NES long play a long time ago, is that this game is very much similar to one of my other all-time favorite shmups, Raiden, or Raiden, as some of us in America will pronounce it. And Raiden actually came out a couple years after Twin Cobra, and it borrowed a lot from the game. I don't know if some of the same developers worked on both games, maybe if someone moved from Toplan and went to Shiba Kaihatsu. And, yeah, Twin Cobra, if you're familiar with Raiden but maybe haven't played Twin Cobra shares a lot of the same traits. For instance, the power-up system is pretty much the same in terms of how it's executed. You've got colored icons on the screen, as you can see right here. Each color denotes a certain type of firepower. And then from there, this is actually a little bit different than Raiden. You'll get a S power-up, which will actually boost the level of firepower you're at. And your firepower, much like Raiden, gets extremely large in this game, especially your spread shots and your pretty much your wide shots. So, and you've also got your typical bomb. It drops to the ground. It deals a lot of damage, as well as absorbs bullets. So yeah, lots of similarities to Raiden, including the enemy design, like the helicopters that come down constantly, the power-up ships, and yeah, some of the bosses. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I really enjoy Twin Cobra. It's very much like one of my other all-time favorites. And, you know, despite the difficulty, I think the game is still really solid. So let's actually go into the configuration before we start. Let's boost these up to, no, I'm just kidding. We're gonna leave everything on default settings, so I guess the default is hard A. There's no normal. It's just easy A, B, C, and hard, oh, D, apparently, and hard A, B, C, D. I'm going to leave it on hard A, which I'm assuming is sort of normal mode. A bombs, so that's good to know, because I haven't played this game in a while. I hate it when I don't play a shoot-'em-up like this, and I don't look at the controls, and then I play it, and I accidentally press the bomb button when I start off. I'm sure that's happened to many of you guys when you play these games. So B shoots, rapid is on. You definitely want to leave rapid fire on unless you've got a joystick, because a lot of enemies take a lot of hits to take down, and I've never found mashing controller buttons to be all that pleasing, depending on the game. It depends on the game. But Twin Cobra, I think that with how the game reacts to you mashing the button really quickly, it's actually better to just leave rapid fire on. It's just more efficient. Even with rapid fire on, though, you can actually still mash the button as quickly as you want, and your firepower will come out faster than the rapid fire does on its own. So there is still that option. So it's not like you're locked into the fire rate of the rapid fire. You can still mash the button really fast, and your shots will go quicker. So that's something to keep in mind. So rapid fire on is sort of a good in-between. So you can fire as quickly as you want if you want, but just to keep your thumb sort of healthy and not, you know, dying on you in the middle of the game, I like to just use the rapid fire. One other cool thing about this game is it's got a sound test, and there's some of the tracks in this game I really like. Twin Cobra has, again, some of my favorite music from that time period. Again, very similar to Raiden. It's got, you know, at least 2 tunes in the game that I just think are kind of epic for this type of game. like Breakaway. Great track. So let's go ahead and get into the game and see how far we can get. Now, I would like to preface this with, again, I make no guarantees at completing this game, or even getting that far to begin with. You do get a few continues, and I don't know if I'm going to actually use any of those continues, because you do get a lot of extra lives along the way as well. So we'll see what happens. We're just going to wing it, and, you know, we'll see what comes. So, you know, while I really like this version of Twin Cobra, you know, it's really a good version of this game, a solid port. It's obviously stripped down a little bit from the arcade game. It's not as colorful. There's not as much animation. Obviously, the screen has been adjusted. It's more wide now than it is tall, whereas the arcade version used a Tate setup where the monitor is taller than it is wide. Oops, I was trying to get slick there and mashed my fire button, and in the process, I tapped the A button by accident, so let's not do that again. But yeah, still, despite the shortcomings compared to the arcade version, still a really solid version. Keeping that in mind, though, funny enough, I actually, in these last couple of years, have found myself playing, no thanks to my flash cartridge, playing the PC Engine version of this game, which I actually think is slightly better than this version. Some of the shadows aren't nearly as cool and well drawn in the PC Engine version, but overall, that version is definitely a little more colorful. And I kind of like the slightly more gritty nature of the soundtrack in that version. Normally, I actually don't enjoy the TurboGrafx and PC Engine sound hardware as much as, say, the Sega Genesis. I feel it's very scratchy a lot of times. But for some reason, the sort of, just the way they get the tones in that version of Twin Cobra, it just works very well for the game. And so I ended up finding myself enjoying playing that one more. It's just also an awesome version of the game. Plays very well, and it's just a lot of fun. I even think the TurboGrafx, or I'm sorry, PC Engine version, because it never made it outside of Japan, unfortunately. I actually think the PC Engine version of Twin Cobra is a little bit easier, which also makes it, I think, a little more enjoyable, because, again, this game could be extremely punishing. And I think it's a little bit easier to recover in the PC Engine version. Of course, having that turbo controller built in helps a little bit too. You gotta give it that. So, I keep mashing the fire button like it's gonna do me good. What I'm probably gonna end up doing is dropping another bomb by accident. So let me just hold the fire button. In the PC Engine version, there actually is no turbo button. I'm sorry, not turbo button. There's a turbo button on the controller. There's no auto fire in the PC Engine version by default. But that makes sense because there's auto fire on the controller, essentially. I mean, one of the big perks to the PC Engine in general and the TurboGrafx when it came out in America was the turbo switches. That was sort of that system's gimmick, and especially considering the arcade-style nature of the majority of its library, that really kind of makes sense. So, for that time period. So again, if you guys have played Raiden, you can probably see the similarities already. I mean, again, this game came out a few years earlier than Raiden, but very, very similar setup. It's not as complicated, sorry, and not as fleshed out as Raiden, but again, the game's a few more years older. You know, this was, I think, I want to say the arcade version was like 87 or 88. And Raiden, the arcade game, didn't come out till 90. This version of Twin Cobra, I want to say, was 90 or 91. After Raiden was already out, I think. I don't think this was a 89 release for Genesis. This was definitely 90 or 91. This was in the first 2 years, I believe. But yeah. So, throughout the stage, you could pick up those bonus icons, and as you can see, they sort of tally those up at the end of the level for some bonus points. This is definitely one of those games where points is good, or points are good. I don't know if that's plural or not. Points are good in this game because they equate to extra lives, essentially. And for me, when I play games, and many of you guys that have followed me for a while know this already, is that I like to at least beat games without continuing. That's like usually my baseline goal. If I do better, then that's great. I can feel better about myself, I guess, for a little bit. And, you know, say if I beat a game without dying or something like that. Especially a hard game I haven't done that on before. But generally my ultimate goal is just beating games without continuing. And so I actually have never done that with this game before. I don't actually think I've ever beaten the Sega Genesis version of Twin Cobra now that I think about it. Which is actually kind of funny because I've beaten the NES one quite a lot. But it is a much easier version of the game. That's true too. But I have completed the PC Engine version several times. So I don't know if that's really the sort of go and show that that version's easier, or maybe I just haven't practiced this version enough recently as I've gotten older. Twin Cobra was a game I played a lot in the late 90s, when I was sort of in early high school or so, especially, is when I played a lot of it, when I really first discovered the Genesis version of the game. And, but my skills, I think, have really improved since then. You know, I used to think back then I was like the ultimate gaming master, and you know, all I did was play video games back then. But to be honest, even though I play less video games now, my skills have somehow improved miraculously. I don't know how that works, but something about age definitely makes a difference. Maybe it's wisdom. I don't know, but so maybe I should definitely practice this game more. Let's drop a bomb. Might as well. We've got plenty. Let's drop another. And it killed it. That's good. As you can see, I kind of like the blue power-up because it's a nice spread shot. It's very useful, and I totally missed that power-up guy, but at least I got another bomb from the other one. But yeah, the blue spread shot's pretty useful. Definitely makes life a little bit easier. So, and it's got sort of a slightly more concentrated center shot, which, you know, it sort of makes this weapon the best of both worlds. It's, you know, it reaches out far, but at the same time, if you really need to target something directly ahead of you, you've got the force to do so just like that. I just took that guy down in not even a second. It was pretty nice, actually. So do 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 do. Oh! I thought I was gonna have that boss. That was definitely a bad mistake. I should have stayed off to the side a little bit. And look at that, it doesn't even let me keep my blue power up. I have to revert back to the red shot. Which I'm not complaining about that much. The red shot's not a bad shot, it's powerful. So I'd say the red is probably the most, I don't want to say useful, but it's probably the most powerful. I don't know. See, the green shot's really strong as well, but it's just not as wide, so you're not going to hit as much with it. I mean, the red shot, you can deal a lot of damage, but at the same time, still attack sort of nuisance enemies that are spawning in like that. I'm probably going to have to end up using my bombs to take this guy down quickly. Oh, come on! Oh. See, this is sort of the rut you get stuck in when you're playing this game, is you die right before a boss, and you get pretty much screwed over. You have to just deal with it like this, and it's tough. So I definitely can't mash buttons as fast as I used to be able to. Maybe if these were arcade buttons, it would be a little bit different, but my mashing skills are sucking right now. Because again, you can sort of mash as quickly as you want in this game, as long as there aren't too many of your own bullets on the screen already. I know that's the cheap way to do it, but hey, I just want to get through the boss. You actually are throwing a lot of bombs at you throughout the course of the game, so I mean, if you have to use bombs just to get past a part like that, I say go for it, because I think, you know, again, I played more for survival, and I don't think they give you extra points for having bombs, unlike Raiden, where in Raiden you would get medallions, and then they would multiply them by the amount of bombs you have, but I don't think that's the case in this game. I think they just multiply the amount of medallions you have, or you get like 1,000 or 2,000 or some arbitrary number like that, you know, per medallion or medal or star that you get. So hey, I mean, basically the point is use your bombs. You know, if it takes that, you know, survival is more important to me. So again, especially when I'm doing a Let's Play. I don't do Let's Plays for, you know, for like high score contests or anything like that. I'm doing Let's Plays to show you guys the game and sort of see what I can do talking and playing at the same time. So that was close. That bullet almost grazed me. And this is going to be a little tough right here with this dude down here because I don't have much in terms of firepower right now. Ah! That was bad. That was a dumb mistake. I saw that bullet coming right after me, and I should have just went backwards, but instead I tried cutting over it on the top end. Let's drop a bomb on this guy. 2 bombs on this guy, because he's going to give me a power-up just like that. And I still have 1 bomb in reserve if I really have to use it. Which I'm hoping I don't. But I might! It's good to kill those green guys if you can. They take more hits than the helicopters. This is definitely the kind of game where getting your priorities straight will help you in terms of your survival and progressing through the game. Like, should I go for this really big enemy or take out the popcorn enemies instead that are going to actually be firing bullets at me? So, in that case, with that big guy that's going to be on screen for a while, I would suggest going for the smaller enemies to keep yourself safer. Grab that bomb, definitely. Oh, that was close. See, this game, as you can see, I mean, we're playing on sort of the medium difficulty level. It gets intense pretty quickly. It definitely does not take long to get to put you on edge. So I'm definitely on edge. I mean, I'm on edge more now than I probably normally would be, but that's what talking and playing at the same time does to you. It's a little bit harder to focus, as many YouTubers should be able to attest to. You do have to be careful. I'm not sure which level it is, but those big airplanes start coming from behind you as well. So, you know, if you decide to do what I do, or what I'm doing right now, and hug the back of the screen, they will become pretty problem. Oh, why did I do that? I knew better than that. That was dumb. I thought there was only going to be one sort of boss enemy. I thought that for the most part, they don't start appearing in twos until you start looping the game. Or, I'm sorry, get to the halfway point in the game. So, I need that firepower upgrade. one tactic you can use is, especially when you're low on firepower like right now, is push enemies off the screen. How a lot of these old shoot-em-ups worked from the late 80s is if enemies were off the screen, they wouldn't be able to fire at you. So you can use that as a strategy. So don't feel bad to use it as a strategy. Oh, I spent too long and it's scrolling past. I'll take it. No points, but I'll take it. Again, survival is my main focus of interest right now. So we're at about 20 minutes in. Not too bad. I really don't know how much farther I'm going to be able to get. Especially when I keep dying. I mean, when you die in this game, as you can see, the game gets considerably more difficult just because you don't have the firepower necessary to deal with the swarms of enemies coming at you. But, you know, that it's one element of the game I actually kind of like, because when you are fully powered up, it actually kind of makes you feel powerful. Like, it makes you feel good. Like, you're just covering half the screen with bullets, and you're just... nothing can touch you. But then when something does touch you, it feels really, really bad, because you're like, ah, I was maxed out, you know? Like, it takes a little while to get maxed out in this game. I mean, it probably takes, like, 10 power-ups or something. So that's, you know, no small feat right there, to be honest with you. Raiding is the exact same way. It probably takes you about 10 power-ups to get fully powered up in that game. And, I hate it when I get caught between these little ships. I'm gonna need to get that blue spread shot. Come on, blue shot. Blue one's the next one. Come on. Oh no, don't go off the screen. Shoot. I'm out of bombs now too. That's not good at all. Crap. I'm doing what I can. I need that bomb. But these guys keep coming down. I can't do anything. It's fun trying to play these games smart. Like, a lot of times when I play video games, I'm just reckless and trying to play it a little more intelligently. For one, it helps your performance, but it also makes the experience a little more interesting. Like, I'm purposely, strategically trying to push these guys off the screen just to make my life easier. You know, things like that. And especially when I was younger, when I would play games, I would just sort of play games... I don't want to say like in a zombie state, but I would just do what my instincts told me rather than analyzing the playfield and saying, hey, okay, enemies are on the left side of the screen, I should probably get to the right. But no, I would be swarming or storming the enemies because it just felt better, it was risky. And, you know, when I'm doing these Let's Plays with you guys, I definitely, like a switch clicks in my head. And I play a little bit differently, and it's for the better. Like, it almost helps me play better. So there we go, spread shot. This is definitely what I need right now, because these helicopters are... You know, fortunately, they're not shooting out that quickly, but they're still a pain. And if I recall correctly, this boss is a pain too. Oh, great, 2 of them. Just like the last one. God! Yeah, I've never been a fan of this boss either. I should have saved those bombs for a little bit later. Last life, I think. Either that or it's going to be 0 lives after this, and then... I got 3 bombs. I'm going to have to just bomb my way through like I did on that last boss. That's what sucks about dying in this game, is you literally get screwed, and you pretty much have to bomb your way out. Which to me isn't a very good feeling, but, you know, when you're playing for survival, you gotta do what you gotta do. When I was younger, my friends and I that I would play shoot-em-ups with, we would never ever want to use a bomb. Even if we got stuck like this, we would just not use any bombs, and that was bad. That was a waste of a bomb. That was a waste of a bomb too. Let's use another one! Definitely not a fan of this boss. Never have been. Never will be. Oh, look at that. Oh, come on. You're still gonna fire. Wow, the time limit is really short on these bosses. It's definitely... I want to say it's longer in the PC Engine version. Because, I mean, that literally didn't last very long. Maybe I'll get lucky and get an extra life from this or something. Because I definitely need one right about now. So let's see if we can at least make it through to the halfway point. Basically what... Oh, extra life, got one. 60,000, or 600,000, sorry, awards another extra life. It's basically what happens in Twin Cobra is you go through 5 stages. Yeah, 5 stages. Fight sort of like a mid-boss. At this level, actually. And then the game sort of starts over. It doesn't really start over, but you repeat the same cycle of levels. 5 more levels with the same music change in the same spots. And... you know, each level you go to looks a little bit like the first iteration of that stage. So, you know, if we beat this level, the next level is going to look a little like level 1 did when we started the game. It's going to have the same music. But it's not going to be a carbon copy. It's going to look a little bit different, you know, in terms of like where the trees are and where the tanks come from and stuff like that. But it definitely almost feels like a loop, like you're looping the game. Like you beat it, and you're going through the same thing again, just with maybe some more enemies or something like that. It's not quite like that. Shoot. But I almost sort of view it as the same thing. So I always kind of consider it the second loop. In reality, you're still in the first loop, but you're going through 5 similar stages again with the same music, and I think the bosses are even... No, I think that actually the bosses are a little bit different. So, alright, let's try to focus. Yeah, that's not cool. Not cool, enemies. Not cool. See, there they go. Planes coming from behind me. I hope it stays out, because those big planes, they give you power-ups. So... Oh, come on! Why did I do that? Continue play. Alright guys, well, I don't want this video to go on for days, so I'm gonna go ahead and just end it here. You know, like I said, I was just gonna play to see how far I could get. So we got to stage 5. I made some bad mistakes in terms of dying, and, you know, like I mentioned, it can be hard to recover, and you're pretty much forced to use bombs on some of the bosses in order to get through them successfully. I mean, granted, I'm sure I could have played a little bit better, but your helicopter is so big, it's actually kind of tough to dodge between, you know, bullet patterns and stuff like that, especially on bosses where the patterns are a little more dense. And but here's your maxed out red firepower. As you can see, the maxed out red firepower is just awesome. And really, that's what I should probably be trying to do when I play this game. is use the red, maxed out red firepower instead of the maxed out blue, because again, the red is just so much more powerful than the blue is. I mean, the blue spreads farther, but it's not as good of a spread as your main red shot in Raiden. Yeah, maybe next time I play this, I'll try to just run through the game with just the red shot and go from there. So anyway, guys, I want to go ahead and say thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued support. If you enjoyed this video and you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe. I've got a lot more. What the? I've got a lot more Let's Plays and other videos of the sort on the way. And so yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. I'll catch you soon. And until next time, take care.